good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Earthlings. How are you doing today? I'm having a very interesting day today, and that is going to be the subject matter of today's video. Firstly, I'd like to say a massive thank you to the people who work at YouTube. They know who they are. And I really appreciate the email that I received from you about 3 hours ago. Thank you. I can't go into any more detail than that, guys, because that would be breaching a confidence to some of the people who work at YouTube. But I'm being monitored. They're watching all of my videos, and I'm glad about that. I made a video several months ago regarding some trolls online who had been targeting me and Yankee Wally and other major YouTubers such as Trevor Cool, Sue Smith, and many other big YouTubers. And I know that those trolls equally watch my videos. Now, the video I made about them months ago was very much designed to get them to report that video, because I felt that was the best and quickest way to draw the problem to the attention of people who work at YouTube. And quite predictably, they reported the video, they applied to have the video taken down, and this morning I received an email from YouTube that they have made the decision that the video will remain. Now, this is a bit of a heavy duty video, so before we get into that, I would like to say, if any of you out there are being bullied online, or you're on the receiving end of troll behaviour, please, 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 I know it's hard, try not to let it upset you. For someone like me, we're a happy-go-lucky family, and it really is largely water off a duck's back. But I am aware that other people who maybe live alone or are more sensitive natured than me take these things to heart. Now, when someone bullies you online, you've got to distance yourself that it's not actually you they're bullying. Believe it or not, it's not. What they're picking on is your public persona, or if you have a username and you comment, they're picking on that. They don't know you as a person. So you've got to look at it that way. That's the first thing I would say to any of you out there that are being bullied online. I realise it's a lot more difficult for kids, especially if you've got like people in your school who are participating in it and you feel like everybody's looking at you. That's the second point. Quite often, when you find yourself on the receiving end of an online troll or a bully, you've got to put yourself in the shoes of third parties and other people who are looking at it. And think to yourself, are those people actually going to think more badly of me? Or are they going to think badly of the troll? And in my experience, the people who troll online and bully online actively, they actually think, they don't think of that. They think that all the viewer or the reader is going to be looking at is their victim. What they don't realise is that they are displaying their disgustingness in full technicolor on the internet for everybody to see. So, for example, if you're a kid out there and you're at school and you're being bullied online, please believe me when I say that the majority of your school friends, they will be looking at the situation and they will be judging the bully and not you. And that you can take that to the bank all day long. Trust me, that is true. And I'll explain how I know that for a fact. Years ago, both my kids were bullied at school. I'm not criticising the schools or getting into that one, but I made a stand publicly on the internet about it. And there was a big doodah and explosion. And the bullies didn't like that I highlighted them and drew attention to the whole thing. Now, that was a big doodah for my family. Few months after that, I went back to that area of the internet where the explosion happened, an explosion that I caused, and I had over 600 messages from individuals who had suffered bullying in the same place by very similar people. Some of them were the same people, some of them were like-minded people. They were from adults who had messaged me and said, I suffered bullying in the same situation at the same place. Thank you so much for calling it out. They were from kids that were actively suffering bullying. They were from all manner, and I wish I had read the messages at the time and responded. But because I didn't check back on those that situation for a couple of months, I felt it was a little bit, the heat had gone out of it, and I thought, I would be raking things up for victims of bullying when they may have moved on in life. But they all said the same thing to me. And some of them were people who said, I've never been bullied, but I've witnessed it. And take it from me, I judged the bullies, not the victim. So if you are a victim of bullying, online or in the real world, please rest assured that the bad judgment falls on the aggressor and not on the victim. Now, that's the problem that this individual has now. I'm not going to give away any confidentialities between the communication of me and YouTube, but YouTube have furnished me with some information, quite a lot of information actually. And to just generalise in the area of online bullies, I will tell you that this person behaved in an absolutely stupendously disgusting way. They put this stuff out there on the internet, and I critiqued them under the fair use and fair dealing, as this video is under fair use and fair dealing, and I'm not naming anybody or throwing any allegations out or trying to dox, nothing of the sort. And they have now decided that it was a bad idea for them to bully me online. And I get the impression they kind of wish they'd never put that stuff out there, because they're saying they've scrubbed the internet clean, and the only place that their disgusting behaviour now exists under a spotlight is on this channel, on that video that I made a few months ago. The link to that video is in the description of this video. If you want, go and watch. It's uncharacteristically long for me. It's about an hour long. I'm very pleased that the human beings, more than one human being at YouTube, has taken the time to watch that whole hour-long video, that they have clearly listened carefully to what I said in that video, and that they have taken the course of action that they will not be removing that video at this moment in time, at the very least. So I applaud the employees of YouTube for standing with me against online bullying and trolling and free speech and fair use and fair dealing. I applaud you. Unfortunately, YouTube is a very, very large organisation, as I'm sure you can all imagine. It is owned by Google, which I'm sure you all know, which I believe, and I could be wrong in this because sometimes I get my facts muddled and stuff. If I've got it wrong, I'll do a correction video, but I believe Google is owned by something called Alphabet. Now, I'd also like to thank the whistleblower who pointed me in the direction of the Google Code of Conduct last month. Thank you very much. Not everyone who works at YouTube or Google is a good person. That is not the fault of Google and YouTube. Any one of you out there who work for a large organisation, you will know that people are people. People are fallible. People are, well, they can be bribed. People can be, they can maybe have a conflict of interests. People who work within an organisation may make detrimental decisions based on their political beliefs, maybe religious beliefs, or perhaps they're a fan of a celebrity and they want to support that celebrity, and they may make poor judgment. Now, the reason that this whistleblower who works at YouTube contacted me by email privately last month and pointed me in the direction of the Google Code of Conduct is that they supplied me with an address that I can write to ask for an investigation into certain decisions that have been made by YouTube. Strange decisions that make absolutely no sense. For example, why was Yankee Wally removed from YouTube? Why is it every time she sets up a channel, it's deleted? Sometimes within days, sometimes within hours. Is it because she has contravened the terms and conditions of YouTube? Now, the last few channels she's had taken down say she's taken down for circumventing a ban. But the initial ban, what rules did she break? None, as far as I can see. None at all. And if you watch the video in the link below, after this video, and I'm sorry it is an hour long, but there was an awful lot of information I had to put in it, then that will become clearer to you. Trevor Cult. Why was Trevor Cult demonetised? Who made that decision? Was it because Trevor had broken terms and conditions? Or were the decisions made in the case of Yankee Wally and Trevor Cult made through poor judgment, through employees who maybe have a skewed vision of things because of political beliefs, because of fandom beliefs? They love a particular celebrity who has been critiqued. And so I am going to write, and I am going to highlight in that letter the case of Trevor Cult and ask, could they investigate which employee at YouTube made that decision to demonetize him? I'm also going to name and cite the case of Yankee Wally and all of her channels with the, the really long YouTube code. And I'm going to ask them to investigate which employee who made that decision. I mean, this Google Code of Conduct, this goes way above Google, actually. These are the owners. These people are so high up that they've already arrived. They're kind of immune to bribery, immune to any influence from anybody, really. So they're just sort of they can sit there, they can look in a very cold way at the whole situation and say to themselves, there's something funny going on here. Now, the email I received from YouTube this morning, I personally, my take on it, so I don't want to get into the content of that email, I personally take it that something funny is going on. And that my online troll, Yankee Wally's online troll, Trevor's troll, and there were lots of other YouTubers, that troll is now trying to cleanse and scrub the internet clean because they are fearful that something is about to come out. I'd also like to address JJ, because I know that's not your real name, that's just your tag name on YouTube. JJ I've spoken about before. JJ is I don't think a fan particularly of Harry and Meghan, but JJ's someone who comments quite a lot, and I welcome JJ's comments. I did read your really long comment you put recently on one of my videos, but I was reading it on my phone, so I have to sort of scan back and forth. I'll have to go back and really pay attention to that comment, JJ, and I will reply to it. But in the comment, you accuse me of being a bully, of bullying to public figures. I object to that, actually, and I would argue against that in the strongest possible terms. I am not a bully. I have spent my entire life standing up to bullies. Sometimes I've actually faced fear or threat of arrest or prison in order to stand up for people who are being bullied. I hasten to add, I never actually got arrested or thrown in prison, but yeah, bullies, they'll threaten anything to shut you up, to silence you, to make it go away, because they're cowards. Ultimately, they like to do their dirty work in the shadows, and they don't like it when someone throws it into the light. So, and JJ, I'm not Jewish, but I wear a Magen David, a Star of David, to support people, Jewish people who are bullied, who are attacked. This is my anti-Semitic stance, and I've often called it my target, because with some sectors of the community, this can actually make me a target. And it's also a promise I made to God, not delving into religion. Graham and I have also stood up for the traveller community. We were savagely attacked over that. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. As I say, both my kids were bullied at school. I don't bully anybody. And this video I made months ago, anyone can go and watch that and say, see, I have not changed as a person. I've not changed my style as a YouTuber. I have not changed my stance against bullying. And JJ, I would particularly like your analytical take on the video that's in the link. Have a look at that and listen to what has been done and said. It is truly, truly shocking and awful. So basically, people, the employee base at YouTube is a mix. It's a mix of lots of different personalities and people. And there are procedures and protocols, but nothing's ever perfect. And can you imagine how hard it is for YouTube with all the uploads every single day? With how many millions, gazillions, billions of videos are out there, commenters, channels. I don't hold them entirely to blame for the fact that certain channels continue to exist and others don't, because when you've got good people looking at stuff, and I know now I do have good people monitoring this channel, watching, listening and paying attention, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart, I really do. And please, I know you're busy, I know you're monitoring lots of channels. I hope that you follow the situation and that you can see what's been going on. But and to any bullies out there, if you do decide to bully and you decide to put some stuff out there on the internet is forever. You can't just scrub things off it that are inconvenient, like, oopsie doodle, I kind of wish I hadn't said that. Because, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, it was on the front page of the Daily Mail next week. Maybe you shouldn't have said that. I'm just saying hypothetically, because sometimes celebrities do and say things that they deeply come to regret. So that's the essence of today. I'm sorry if I've been a little cryptic. Quite often us YouTubers, there are things I see in the comments when you guys say, why don't you just come out and say it, what you're thinking? Well, you just can't do that, because unless you have concrete, hard evidence that you can take before a judge and say, I can prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt, you are exposing yourself. All YouTubers would be exposing themselves horribly. Now, for example, Alex Belfield, the YouTuber, my own stepson, they're in prison for having said things. And I dare say their subscribers encouraged them to do those things, but were those subscribers standing in the dock with them? Where if a YouTuber gets sued, are those subscribers standing next to them in court? No. It's the responsibility of the YouTuber. That's the legal side. As far as a moral side goes, it is never good to put bad things out on the internet against anybody. Free speech is not a license to bully, to defame, to do or to harass. That is not free speech. And I see a lot of critics of our community say, oh, these people want to use free speech to do and say what they like. That is not true. And the YouTubers such as Trevor, Sue, Taz, Murky, Wally, if I thought for a minute that any of them were racist or saying things that were bad, I wouldn't even subscribe to them. But they are not. They are all using their free speech to critique public figures. lots of public figures. And I don't approve of people's free speech being taken away from them. But I would never support anybody who bullies, harasses, or defames. I shall leave it at there for now. Thank you all very much for listening. I hope you have a fabulous day, and equally I hope that you are all nice in the comments, as you always are, to each other and to other YouTubers. And I do feel a change in the wind, and I do actually know something big is coming. And I think that's why the internet at the moment, there is an attempt to cleanse and clean. And unfortunately, not even bleach is going to clean it away. See you all below.